It's a privilege and a pleasure. I certainly appreciate it. So I'm going to take everything that we've talked about so far, and I'm just going to pull it together and put a pretty little bow on top. It's really important for all of you here and all of you watching on YouTube that if you're here as a guest, the information that I'm going to share in the next 10, maybe 12 minutes with you is really, it's meant for you. Obviously, everyone else has already found this. They've made this discovery, and they are having various degrees of success. But I can say with a great deal of pride and enthusiasm that every single person, 100% of them, that have already found this ahead of you are having success. And that's a very rare thing to be able to say. One of the reasons that this section of the presentation is so important is that there are a lot of people in the world that are struggling right now. And it doesn't matter where you live. People are getting absolutely hammered by the current conditions. People are going to bed nervous. They're waking up nervous in the middle of the night. And I'm very empathetic. And if you're here as a guest and there's some uncertainty in your future because of what's happening right now, I'm just very happy that you have the opportunity to tune in, especially to the next 10 minutes. If you're doubting yourself, if you've never, ever had a position where you've had to sell anything before, first of all, I want you to stop worrying about that right now. Because the tools that Ron was talking about earlier and some of the processes that Justin has mastered that he was talking about earlier, I will tell you that this is something that will be so much easier to share than you may think without any experience right now, that you're probably worrying about absolutely nothing. Now, first and foremost, all of the elements of the platform, the company that we've talked about so far, you can participate in and benefit from without mentioning this to a soul. So if that's you and you are determined that it is just not your place to share anything with anyone, well, we've got some very good news for you. You can still roll into this and participate and benefit. However, the one thing that's so critically important in creating abundance, if you want to use the crisis that's happening right now and really try to find a silver lining in so much suffering that's happening around the world, you could use this platform as an opportunity really to learn how to leverage yourself. You know, in the world, there's two different ways to leverage oneself. One, of course, is in money. You can leverage money. Wealthy people put their money to work for themselves all of the time. Now, of course, when markets hit the ditch like they are right now, a lot of people also take a beating. But I can tell you, generally, people with resources are already prepared and already taking evasive steps when things like this start to happen. Many of us have accumulated cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin along the way. Many people on this call, many experienced leaders, had the luxury or were fortunate enough to be involved in cryptocurrency-based platforms during 2015, 16, 17, when we saw that absolutely incredible run from around $700 to 19,000 US dollars. And of course, that made many, many millionaires. But that's a pattern that happens economically anyway. I mean, we saw the tech bubble in 1997, 1998, 1999, where companies were just throwing billions of dollars at startups that really didn't bring anything of significance to the market. It's just because of the hype that was surrounding that particular era. And one constant for all of us has been the strength and the massive opportunity that the Forex market provides. So I want to blast through a few details with you right now. As I said before, it's only going to take a few minutes, but I want you to put yourself in a position that if you don't have tens or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars at your disposal to leverage money, in my humble opinion, I think that you can do extraordinary things and really, in fact, create some freedom and security for yourself in a period of time that may surprise you by leveraging your time. And the way you leverage your time is really focusing on a business platform. In this case, it's one you can run from your smartphone that's systems-based. So when we share simple systems, the reason we do share simple systems is because they're easy to share. And so if I give you 2 or 3 action steps that are easy for you to take, and then they're easy for you to teach because they were easy for you to take, all of a sudden you've actually started to leverage your time and create abundance for yourself. So let's talk about this for just a few minutes right now. The way this plan works, very simply, we break this down into two different categories. It's a play on the Forex terminology, bear and bull markets. We call them bear and bull capital. And so for any one of those trade contracts, if you remember, all the cheering and enthusiasm was happening when we announced the new additions to the trade contract, family. Any single one of those, as a customer, you can get involved and earn up to 2 times the value of that contract, whether it's a $300 or $500 contract, or whether the new $40,000 or $70,000 contracts, 200% gains just as a customer. That's just as someone who's taking advantage of the infrastructure in the company and benefiting in the Forex market. Now, if you do what I would encourage you to do, and that is, don't be afraid to pop open your smartphone and share some of your results with the people that matter to you. As soon as you do that one time, you now make yourself eligible to also earn bull capital, where you can gain, believe it or not, an additional 2 times on whatever trade contract you happen to be using, for a total of up to 4 times gains. That's substantial, to say the least. Now, these are contracts, just as I stated, in the sense that they have a beginning and a middle and an end. And the end is exactly how I've just defined them, either 2 times or 4 times the value of those contracts. You can see below that, we also talk about rank levels. And obviously, if you're new to this, you already have a little bit of an insight as to what rank levels are, because Waskar was just interviewing Richard and congratulating him on some amazing achievements that he's already made in a very short period of time. So let me break this down for you graphically so it's very clear. I'm going to use this example of a $10,000 contract, and that's what this icon is representing. Now, here's bear capital. Remember, we said bear capital is customer capital. Okay, so this is the case where 70%, and Ron talked about this 70-30 split, 70% of the capital from that trade contract is immediately being put to work for you. Now, you have a maximum that you can gain on a weekly basis of 15%, which obviously is extraordinary. And ultimately, that contract will reach its cap or reach its terminate end at 2 times the value of that bear capital. However, if you choose to open your smartphone and share this with a few friends, you can also generate bull capital. And remember, bull capital is what's coming from the 30% that wasn't put to work for you in the trading market. So this was an actual product purchase. Remember, we talk about legacy companies in this call. We talk about really building business the right way with integrity, so this can last long-term for you and be a permanent part of your family's income source. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you make sure you structure things properly. And we know that any long-term project has to have a rewards plan that's fed from a real product sale. And that's exactly what that academy is. This is what we talked about online universities in the second slide of this presentation, and this huge movement to learning from home. Because these online universities, in our case, we call it our Learning Academy or our Forex Academy, that's being custom built by CFX with a great deal of money invested and time and energy and planning. This university is where the 30% from any trade contract goes. Now, what's great is as you start moving your way up that ladder, a 10K contract to now a 15K contract and then a 20K contract, etc. Every single time you move up that ladder, guess what happens? Of the new gains or the new capital that gets put to work for you, 70% goes added to your trade contract, but 30% goes directly to another academy section that you're unlocking and goes to one of 2 places. You can see on the slide, half of it goes to a fast start bonus and half of it goes to a unilevel bonus. In any case, this gives you the ability to add an additional 200% growth to the value of the contract that you're currently holding. So let's talk just a little bit about trading results, because trading results are still gains and they're still part of the rewards plan. So we're using, now the guys already touched on this really effectively, so I don't need to spend much time on it, but we're talking about AI tech that's being developed. We're talking about live professional traders, and we're talking about EAs. Now, EA, remember, is an abbreviation for expert advisor, and that is where we're using technology, specifically software, coded software, to allow more accelerated, a higher volume of trading that can happen in the marketplace. One of the things that you learned if you were on our leadership call just a few days ago, the very first thing the guys did was turn off the EA when we started to see a major shift in the market conditions. And this is what experienced traders will do, because when you've got a change in the market, and we certainly do have a change in the market, then we lean a little bit more on our live professional traders. So it puts us in a very safe place because we're not dealing with a third party or white label product. Our live professional traders and the engineers that develop all of our software are all in-house. They're all part of the CFX family, and they all always will be. So this way, if we have to make any adjustments based on market conditions, we're all ready and prepared to do it. So let's move on to specifics about the rewards plan. As I mentioned before, the 30% of any trade contract that goes towards the academy, if you notice the second sentence here, the academy pack revenue, 100% of that is actually being sent to you. The company is retaining none of it. So 100% of that, whether it's a fast start bonus, which you saw in the previous or 2 slides ago, or the unilevel, and we're going to talk about both of them right now. So fast start bonus is basically a sharing bonus. If you share this with anybody, you're going to earn what's called a fast start bonus, and it's 50% of that 30%. So in other words, 15% of the value of any trade contract is something that you can earn instantly. Now, what's great about that is not only can you earn that fast start bonus instantly, but you can withdraw it instantly, and you can do whatever you want with that gain instantly. So that's a wonderful thing. But what's particularly interesting, and I think really compelling about the fast start bonus is Waskar and Edwin and the team that developed this were able to create the ability for you to earn not only once from sharing this platform with someone, but for you to earn over and over and over and over every time any one of those individuals that you referred move their way up the contract ladder. So you can earn over and over from a team, even though there's no monthly auto ship attached to this platform. I'm going to repeat that. There's no monthly reoccurring cost for you when you participate in CFX. Now, that's critically important, because if we're going to build a platform where we want to have an impact on people all around the world, not just the wealthiest countries in the world, many people would not be able to afford $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 to put into their own brokerage account. Maybe they could only afford $500, or maybe they could only afford $700 or $1,000. Well, if you're having to spend $150 or $200 every month for a membership fee, there's a very good chance you're either breaking even or losing money month after month after month. And I'm pretty sure that no one, certainly none of us on this call, get involved on anything we work from home to lose money or break even. So by taking that monthly burden out of the system, then you can start anywhere, whether it's a $300 contract with CFX or a $100,000 contract or anything in between, and know that you're going to be able to make gains without having to get hit monthly for reoccurring fees. So that's a fantastic thing about this fast start bonus. I've earned fast start bonuses from individuals that started at $300, and already in 8 months, they're on $100,000 contracts. So you take a look at all the steps in that ladder. That's how many fast start bonuses that I earned and will continue to earn. Now, the other half of the trade contract money, apologies, not the trade contract, the academy, remember the online university, that 30%, the other half of that goes right here. This is what we call a unilevel bonus. Now, the easiest way to understand this graphic and this unilevel bonus and how powerful this bonus is that it doesn't matter how many people you choose to share this with. You can share this with one and all of a sudden be eligible for this unilevel bonus to work for you. One only. You could share this with 10. You could share this with 100. You could share this with 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. Every single person that you personally refer, in other words, every single person that you've earned a fast start bonus on, you also are adding to the size of your level 1. Everyone you've personally referred makes up your level 1. And that's how this it begins. So as those individuals that you personally referred start to share with others, and this starts to grow organically, those individuals become your level 2. And as those people start to share, well, they become your level 3, and so on and so forth. So you can see, first of all, if you have a look at this graphic, this runs all the way down to 10 levels in depth. However, if you look at the bottom on the far right-hand side, there are global bonuses that some people on this call already have access to. And the global bonuses actually allow you to earn infinite in depth and width, regardless of how this grows, how long this grows, or how long this grows for. You have an ability to capture all of that. So the unilevel is really quite a spectacular bonus. Now, the next one I want to talk with you about is equally extraordinary, but what's really interesting about it is you can actually benefit from this bonus even if you're just a customer, even if you have not shared this with anybody. It's called a forced matrix. So this has a very different structure than the unilevel we were just talking about, where you can have an unlimited number of people on your level 1. If you take a look at this graphic, you can see level 1 has positions for 1, 2, 3 people, only 3 people. It doesn't matter how many you share with, only 3 of them will be on the level 1 of your matrix. And it's going to grow in multiples of 3. So level 2, you can see, has 9 positions, and that's all that will fit on level 2. Level 3 is 9 times 3, which is 27, and that's all that will fit on level 3. So if you do happen to share with more, they simply slot under other people. And so there is a way actually for you to position yourself as a customer. Never share this with anybody, and still end up, if you're part of an active team, and there's some wonderfully active teams inside this presentation right now, and they may end up building around you inside your matrix, which makes some of the announcements that you're going to see in about 5 minutes particularly special. So this particular bonus is, first of all, it's fed by a withdraw fee. Now, there's a withdraw fee every single time that anybody pulls their capital, their gains, out of CFX, whether you're a customer and you're pulling out your trading gains, or whether you're a builder sharing the rewards plan and you're pulling out your trading gains and your reward plan bonuses. You'll pay a withdraw fee, and it's that withdraw fee that actually feeds this bonus. One of the things that I know we were very excited about when we were first inspecting this and really going over the numbers with a fine-tooth comb was the perpetual nature, how this would continue to feed and support itself as the network continued to grow around the world from this withdraw fee. First of all, you'll notice in the little yield sign with the exclamation point, this is not a profit center for CFX. This is actually a profit center for us. So of that 20% withdraw fee, all of that is earmarked to go into bonuses for us, for those of you who are building this or participating as a customer. So it breaks down very simply as this: that 20% withdraw fee breaks down into 3 different bonuses. Half of that money, so 10% of the withdraw fee, feeds the bonus we've just talked about. And then 10% of that feeds what we call a matching bonus. And I'll explain that in just 1 second. And the remaining 40% pays for some leadership bonuses, and you're going to see what those are in just a moment. So the matching bonus, very simply, if you've earned a fast start bonus on anybody, that means you've sponsored them. Well, you're also going to get a 10% match of their matrix earnings as well. So let's move on and let's talk a little bit about these bonuses, because they're so critically important to your long-term success. First of all, and this slide is critically important because those of you who are going to share this with friends who you know just want to be customers. They're not going to talk to anyone about CFX, but they're very enthusiastic about participating and making automated Forex market gains. You can see here, this is a strong carrot to encourage your customers to make sure they're still moving through the contract ladder. So as they move through this ladder, what's happening is they're opening multiple layers, which open more positions within the matrix. So even those customers have an opportunity to gain further and further in depth in the matrix. Remember, what happens when your customers move up the contract ladder? Well, you earn fast start bonuses again, and you earn unilevel bonuses again. So any activity that's happening within the system, you continue to earn. And this is one of the reasons so many people all around the world are so excited about this platform. So let's just touch on leadership for a second. You can see the ranks. There is from executive on. There's 6 very important ranks, and you reach the very first rank, which is executive, very simply by having a trade contract of $1,000 or higher. If you noticed when Ron was sharing those trade contracts with you, there's a point to dollar ratio attached to each one of them. It's a 1 to 2 point to dollar ratio. So 500 points or personal volume points, as you see there, would be $1,000 contract. And you can see you can work all the way through this contract, or through this leadership program with 1,000. So you're not being forced to move into larger contracts to be able to earn and open up more and more leadership bonuses. So what I want to dive into very quickly is show you what these bonuses are, and then we're going to make a very special announcement to wrap up this call. All right, so many of you, in the hundreds of you now, have qualified for this very first rank of executive. In fact, we're seeing many of you do it in your very first month of getting started. And I've seen some of the stories. They're absolutely fantastic, of people with no previous experience hitting the rank of executive in their very first month. Well, you're going to receive a gift. And one of those gifts is that pin that you've seen all over this PowerPoint. By the way, the pins are being custom made. They're being custom made by the same company that actually made the Olympic medals the last time the United States hosted the games. So there's a lot of forethought and planning that's gone into these particular medals of achievement. And the only way that you can receive yours is to come to a corporate event. Remember, we had our very first corporate event in Panama. The next corporate event, when this virus clears, is going to be in Punta Cana, Dominican. They're extraordinary. And we have an opportunity to also rub shoulders with each other. That's the only way you'll be able to receive your own medal. The great news is that means you're going to be coming to an event at some point where you can meet all of us. You're also going to receive, though, an iPad for all of your efforts. When you hit the rank of manager, and there's a shocking number of managers starting to pop into the company now as well, you have the opportunity to receive a Datejust Rolex, his or her, depending on whether you're a boy or girl, but chicken butt in the CFX plan. When you reach the rank of director, and you saw Richard had reached that rank, you have the opportunity to travel on a 5-star vacation. This 5-star vacation actually can be anywhere that you want it to be. And take a look at that price tag. That's going to be a pretty fantastic vacation. And one of the individuals that you already had the pleasure of hearing from, in fact, our very second speaker after Richard introduced him, was Justin. Well, he and his business partner, Luigi, have done an absolutely masterful job of helping many of us build our businesses, especially in the early stages as we were all learning the ropes of CFX. They're the gentlemen that have the fantastic working relationship with Ron Pope. Within just a few months of getting started, they already reached the rank of president. You can take a look at what that president's prize is. I was there with them when they chopped the car in half. It was painful to watch, but listen, there's 2 of them, and that's the only way they can do it. When you open this up to the rank of ambassador, and in fact, I know that many of our leaders that are getting close to president, we know ambassador is not going to be far around the corner from watching the growth of their businesses. This is the gain or the prize from that. And then ultimately, our global ambassador prize is a Lamborghini Huracan. So with that, I would like to turn the time back over to our fearless leader and CEO, Waskar, for an announcement that actually will have